You're listening to a main feed episode. Go to patreon.com/Celtic Ligers where €5 a month gets you weekly full-length episodes, stray bonus content and access to the back catalogue. Also helps cover hosting and gives us money for sweeties. Thank you. Celtic Ligers.
Recorded 9th of February 2025.
Recording. I think this is recording.
Welcome.
Oh, what a journey it's been. What a life it's been. What a ride it's been, huh?
Yeah. I got my Mars bar.
Yeah, dinner time. Dinner bells ringing. And the podcast equipment is whirring.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lovely Sunday evening.
Can't
believe the week starts again tomorrow.
James was telling me that just there. I don't know. Well, you'd say this regardless. That Friday came around, and then you were just like, you couldn't even go like, "Hey, thank God it's Friday." TGIF. You were like, "Oh my God, it's going to be Monday."
Yeah, 2 days.
2 days time. And I know exactly what you're thinking. You come out Friday, and it's like, I have about 2 hours where I feel kind of liberated and free. I have Saturday where I'm like, fuck, I should have organized something to happen. And then Sunday, I'm like, I have to go back tomorrow. And that's all I can think about.
Yeah.
Awful. Terrible.
Yeah. It is. No way to live.
We should have I always wonder what would happen if we did have a 4-day work week, and then what Sunday would feel like on a 4-day work week.
Yeah.
You know, like, would it just be like, for some reason, you know, you go, oh, I should have planned something for Saturday, and then you go, oh, you should have planned something for Monday as well, and now it's Sunday, and then you go like, ah, shit.
Wait, how do you think this 4-day week will go?
It was for the purposes of the joke. I don't think we'll create a new day for the 4-day work week. But I think that, like, what would it be like? I guess it would be it would just be altered. The days would stay the same, but like people's schedules would be entirely different.
Yeah.
You know?
Would you take Friday or Monday off?
That's a very good question. Monday. I'd take Monday off.
I'd take Friday off.
Okay. Why?
Because I feel like Sunday's already been like ruined. You know, I don't think that no matter what happens, Sunday is always going to feel bad. Just from like having it, what's the word? Like conditioned within you to hate Sundays.
Yeah.
So if you take Monday off, I think you just end up with 2 Sundays.
No, you're right there.
Wait.
You are right. There is something about it which would be like, because I guess we have as reference bank holiday Mondays, and bank holidays have never felt very satisfying to me. Even though it's like it should be good, because it's like, oh, we got 3 days, and then like you're saying, it's just Sunday becomes a mega day, as opposed to Friday where it's like I got 2 Saturday nights, baby. This is incredible.
Yeah, when you're Friday off, it's the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah.
TGI Fridays.
I wonder if it's because you
suit up.
Now, it is the mental conditioning, obviously, but is it also, there's a bit in Peep Show, I think, about where he and Mark go to a play, and then he decides, oh, I'm fucking leaving, you know? And so he leaves the play early, and he goes, this is amazing. I've time traveled, you know?
Yeah.
Because he's like, I've got like an hour of my life back, you know? Whereas if you go to Friday, and then it's like Saturday, Sunday, and then it's like, oh, and here's a bit extra. You don't feel like you've clawed something back. You feel like you've tacked something on.
Well, you postponed something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You'd be there on Thursday and you'd be like, oh, fuck, I don't have to come in tomorrow. This is amazing, you know?
Yeah. What if we invented a 1 day week? Would that be good?
What if it was like the opposite? What about like, instead of the weekend being 2 days, the weekend is 5 days.
But you have to work it.
2 days. Wouldn't that be fucking sick?
I think I prefer the 1 day week to the 5 day weekend.
I would like to not work at all if I could avoid it.
Yeah. I used to have that.
Yeah, that used to be my life. And I hated it. And I prayed for something else. And now
I have it.
I've gotten it and I hate it. No.
I think I definitely prefer not having any work to having work. So that's good to know.
I would love to never work. And I don't ever work. But at the same time, I never stop worrying about money. I remember during the pandemic, once I got like €200 a week and my bills were low, my costs were low, and I was like, I can finally live my life. Except you can't because it's the pandemic.
You got that PS4, you got Crash Bandicoot 4. You were on top
a real
for
thrill.
a very little while.
Yeah. And I remember looking into that. I think we've spoken about this, and I still think about this all the time, which is like, look what they've made me like, you know?
It's so funny.
I'm in this kind of shoebox room, wedged in with this tiny little monitor and the PS4 hooked up to it. And I was kind of like standing there sort of like dazed from having too many cans and playing Crash Bandicoot 4. And I was like, this is the fucking life, man. And then I was like, this isn't the life. This isn't the life for anybody.
It's funny how we had different reactions because we both were living in shoe-sized rooms. And I had an Xbox and you had a PS4. And I just loved it.
The Capulets and the Montagues, you know?
Like that was the happiest time of my life. And there's no bit of me that's like, that wasn't the way to live. I was like, I wish I could live like that forever.
No, what I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that like, in Galway, I had like my friend's dad, he got the dole, and then every now and again, maybe he'd do some like stone carving, or he'd do like a puppet show busking on the street, and that'd be like walking around money, drinking money, okay? And that was his life.
Wiping your ass money.
And I was like, and then he lived in this place. He lived in this fucking, it was a fucking swish place, but it was like way bigger than the one that we were in. And he was just able to live his life, and it wasn't like always easy. But I always was like, why can't I do that again? Why does it have to be like the world ends and that's the only way that you're allowed to live your life, where you can have a little telly and be playing Crash Bandicoot? And I was like, it's a compromised version of the way that he was living. And yet I'm like, this is great. And I was like, fuck you for making it so that an honest guy can't just play Crash Bandicoot and sponge off of the dole, just for like the Ned Flanders way of looking at the world. You know, what do taxes pay for, Dad? He's like, well, street lights, policemen, and the folk just don't feel like working, God bless them, you know. Like, I was like, why can't you go out there and work to sustain me doing fucking nothing? Okay, this is how creativity kind of flourishes. Is when I'm allowed to do nothing. I'm allowed to watch like, you know, Deadwood box sets and play Crash Bandicoot 4.
Yeah, I just wanted to do nothing.
I would love that. That's my whole. That's my whole prerogative.
I just want to go on a walk every day. Do nothing. Talk to someone for a while. That's the dream.
Yeah.
Eat.
There was a
scrambled eggs.
Did we?
Like,
Did we talk? Well, we kind of mentioned it very briefly, but you remember when you came down to Cork the last time, and it was like the thing is like getting the papers, sitting in Tony's bistro, having a fry, and it was like, let's do this. And then the last time we were down, like we were just like constantly thinking, can't wait to get to Tony's, can't wait to get to Tony's, and we go to Tony's closed. I was like, what the fuck do we do now? What the hell is this? This is not acceptable. This is
Imagine if we were in Belfast. We found some scary little, you know.
I did find some
Blinkers.
scummy, like fry place, like a greasy spoon.
Blinkers.
I don't know anything about Blinkers. All I know is that there's like a shopping centre, and then across from the shopping centre is like a more run-down shopping centre that contains a bunch of like kind of...
What shopping centre? Where were you?
You know. I walked all over. Here's what I thought as well. So I went to Belfast, and I was like, I'm going to go to the place where... I didn't really... So I walked past it. So anyway, you know, like there's punk music was very ascendant in like Belfast at a point, and I wanted to go to a place where the Stiff Little Fingers played a lot, and it was called the Harp Bar.
Yes, Garrett's bedroom. He was always playing with his Stiff Little Fingers.
Yeah, I tell you, there's some suspect device present as well, you know, or alternative Ulster, fucking Tin Soldiers. Trying to think of other Stiff Little Fingers songs that could be used for.
I don't know any of their songs.
Those are some of them I just mentioned there, in case you were listening, but I guess not.
My favorite songs: Garrett's Room, Garrett's Toilet.
Yeah. But anyway, the Harp Bar became so gentrified that I actually walked past it and hadn't realised it. Because I was like, looking for the real fucking Belfast, man, you know. My friend had told me about a place called The Sunflower where he worked. And I had gotten him mixed up in my head as some place that a bunch of punk bands had performed in. And they had, but it wasn't one of the like famous venues. But it is one of the only venues in Belfast that still apparently has the cage outside of it for you to...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why the fuck need it.
So that...
Yeah.
Why do they still need it?
No, they don't still need it, but I'm just wondering why they even had it to begin with, you know?
For the riots.
Yeah, but like the rest of the pub is entirely exposed. They'd be like, okay. And then like reading up on the history of the place, they're like, yeah, the car bomb went off outside of it. It got shot up by the UVF at some point. And I was like, okay, well, feels like that cage isn't really doing all that much. I don't know what...
Yeah, it's a good pub though. And then there was I don't know, Mad City. People there are so cold.
Do you think?
Yeah,
they were the people I found. I found everybody very
and cruel.
Brutal. I found them very hospitable. I thought they were all really nice. The only thing I didn't like about it was everything was so fucking brown. Like everything was like so like it was almost like I'm sorry about anybody from Belfast, but it was like the worst parts about both the United Kingdom and Ireland, where it's like, you know, instead of it being like Centra, Bookies, vape shop, vacant building, Centra, it was like Greg's, Centra, vape shop, and vacant building, you know. And then the other thing that really got me was that you felt like you were in a brown petri dish with those mountains around you, you know.
That's Cave Hill you're talking about.
Oh, well, I didn't like it.
All United Irishmen were founded. The funny thing about Belfast is they've their own form of like bizarre shit thing.
Yeah.
I had a pub for a while there, and it was just called Peaky Blinders. And like the bouncers would dress up as the Peaky Blinders.
And this was after the show.
Yeah. They're just like, they might as well have called it like Game of Thrones, you know? They
They
just
probably
like,
do have a pub there called Game of Thrones.
And then, have you ever seen that video of the woman who wants the kebab?
No.
She's really drunk, and she's like, I want a kebab, but she's outside like a KFC. She's like screaming at them. And they're like, she's like banging on the door, and they're like, the door's open.
Yeah.
But she's like pulling on it.
Yeah.
Well, there's glass door.
Oh, I've seen
keeps
that.
Pulling on it. And then it just shatters. Like, she just pulls the door apart. You wouldn't get that here. The women aren't strong enough.
You get them in Cork, for sure.
I don't think you would. They wouldn't go that far.
Another side, I remember looking at it and going like, well, if I'm going to live in, again, apologies. If I'm going to live in a derelict shithole, I might as well live in Cork. That's what I was thinking. I was like, that's my preferred derelict shithole is Cork. Okay.
Yeah.
Like all of the island of Ireland looks as bad as this, but I just prefer my little nook of it, if I'm honest, you know?
Yeah, you got Tony's.
But Tony's. About it, really. I can't think of another thing there in Cork that I like. I told you when I went to see, did I mention going to see Nosferatu in the Arc Cinema in Cork, and how like the people of Cork were just like not prepared for in this area. This cinema in particular, every time I've gone into it and watched any movie, unless it's like something different is happening every 10 seconds, these people are like losing their fucking minds. Like when I went to see Deadpool, that was the only time, the quietest I've ever seen them, you know? Except they were when they were like honking and hooting at the screen, like when Deadpool brings out his little chihuahua and they're like, somebody had clapped their hands and pointed at the screen like, there's Deadpool's his chihuahua. But Nosferatu, it'd be like people running up and down to go to the toilet, people on their phones, like looking up reels but not putting in their headphones or anything. It was just like, anyway, like I'm trying to think of any place in Cork where it's like, this is another good place that I like.
Down to Nosferatu in Cork and they were like, why is no one talking about this?
Yeah.
You know, like that documentary we just watched.
Yeah.
Is that how stupid they are down there, folks? They think Nosferatu's real. They think it's real. They think Nosferatu's a vampire.
I think he's from NCAD with his big fucking mustache and long jacket.
They wouldn't say NCAD, they'd say
Crawford or something.
They'd say Tony's or something.
He's from Tony's. Honestly, he does look like somebody who'd be sitting outside Tony's looking like just about ready to explode.
Yeah, he looks like the guy you gave out to us.
Yeah, well, except for the fact that he didn't have a big mustache and a comb over.
Think about it. They're both homeless. First of all, they're both homeless. Second of all, they're both leeches. You said that second bit.
It's true.
And then I saw The Brutalist.
Yeah.
And I saw the Bob Dylan film.
Yeah.
Just call me
Mr. Culture.
Siskel and the guy without the jaw.
Call him Mr. Siskel and Mr. Ebert. Call them both of those, respectively.
Yeah. Both were fine. The Bob Dylan one, I was only my therapist was there.
Yeah.
And then when I went into therapy, he was like, how'd you like the Bob Dylan film? I was like, I don't know. And I was trying to remember, did I say, like, was I in the last session like, can't wait to see that Bob Dylan movie? I was like, yeah, I liked it. He was like, I saw you there. And then he kept calling me Bob.
No, he didn't. Are you fucking for real?
He did.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I actually deleted Twitter off of my phone because I'm trying to remember which one it was that did it, but this one really pissed me off, where it was like Sinn Féin were apparently going to put forward a motion to vote on the Occupied Territories bill as it stands, you know? And then there's this guy, and I think his name is Garrett McDade, and he's always like, I could be wrong about that, Let me try and look him up. But anyway, he goes, yeah, I haven't had electricity in 11 days, so maybe prioritize. And I was like, you should live in a fucking kennel, man. You should have, you know, he made me so angry just about like, you know, these, do you know what's like the thing about it is like, these people were the ones going like, oh, weather warnings. They're always going on about red weather warnings. Met Aaron, what a fucking scam. And then the thing with the electricity happens and they're like, why the fuck weren't you ready for this? And it was like, do you not hear yourself? And then they go like, oh, you're like different. Gaza, can maybe prioritize the west of Ireland. It's like, you know, you can do two things at once, you fucking asshole. And you also don't give a shit about Gaza. So like, I hate you. I want bad things to happen to you. Like, think of any red warnings there were in the past year. Yeah. 100? Yeah, 100 red warnings. I'm sure that's what there was, yeah. Minimum? And, you know, only one of them caused mass. Yeah, because it only fucking takes one. Oh, stop. It's not, you know. What's that slogan from? AIDS or something? Which? It only takes one AIDS. One. Where's that slogan come from? Well, I don't know it as a slogan. Although one time I went to the GP because I had a panic attack but didn't realize it. I was a teenager. And he said that I was completely fine and nothing had happened to me at all. So then I was like, well, I'm not paying like 60 quid to have nothing wrong with me. So I just started like listing off all these things that I'd thought about before. And so I said, if you have a laptop on your lap, does that reduce your sperm count? And he was like, I haven't seen anything that says that. But you know what? You only need one. It only takes one. So. Only need one sperm? Yeah, apparently to get the job done. That's what he said. I'm pretty sure you need a lot more. Yeah, like technically that is true. But I think there's a reason why you release 10, 15. At least, yeah. I always like Louis C.K.'s thing about it. I mean, although when you ejaculated. Oh. Yeah. I'm teaching a comedy course at the moment. In Trinity College. And? Did I tell you about that? Yeah, no, you did. But like, how's it going? We had our first thing there, and I got everyone to list their favorite comedians. There was Sean Locke. Ali Wong. Alright. Hassan something. Minaj. Yeah. What the fuck? Go on, keep going. Norm MacDonald. Yeah, acceptable. Some French guy. Is that your man Gal Limandu or something? The French Seinfeld. Yeah, that guy. He sucks. He fucking sucks. Yeah. What's the deal with the Les Muslims? That's what he's like. Yeah. They come here. They take our jobs. Yeah, that's it. Everyone's like, that is so true. So observant. Like, he just notices the little things. The Muslim women wear bags over their heads. I'm going to shock you right now. He's actually Moroccan. Well. Oh, Jewish. Jewish. Boo, boo. That really threw me. Yeah. French Moroccan. And then one guy was just like, I was like, who's your favorite comedian? And he goes, I saw a video and it was a guy score a goal. And it's like a slow-mo.
Like a slow-mo of guys scoring a goal. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, how's it your favourite comedian? And it's like a video you half remember.
Was he trying to impress you by being real weird?
No. He really wasn't. And I was like, what was his name? I was like, can't remember. It's like, well, was it real or... I was trying to remember, like, was it a real goal? And someone edited the clip? Or is the guy doing a skit? Or what? And he couldn't remember. I was like, what the hell are you doing here? And then one guy said Louis C.K.
How did that go down?
I said, oh, bloody hell. And then he was like, what? I was like,
really?
Yeah, I was like, I think he got cancelled. And he was like, for what? And I was like, you can look that up yourself. I'm not going to explain it. So what do you think of this as an activity? I got them all. They have to learn off a set from a comedian they like. And they're going to perform it.
Interesting.
Yeah, hate it. Doesn't matter. It's our homework anyway.
Do I hate it? I don't know. I mean, like, because I do think that that's valuable, but I don't know whether performing it would be as valuable as, like, trying to pick out bits that you like out of it and kind of analyze it in a sort of, do you know what I mean? In a sort of analytical way. Just treat it as a... But I mean, I guess, yeah, when you're repeating it, then you're going to find those things regardless.
Yeah.
Who's my favorite? Who's your favorite?
Watching Ali Wong.
Your favorite is
John Locke.
Yeah, I remember now.
And they'd never heard of Stuart Lee.
Well, it's funny about Stuart Lee because, like, you're like, oh, great, well, it's all ahead of you. And then I was just like, well, not necessarily. Like, it takes you, like, there's a real, like, I remember, like, oh, Stuart Lee, you know, he performed in Galway and he had a special, the 37th best stand-up in the world or something. And then he had, you know, the Jerry Springer, the opera. So I was like, oh, I'm going to find this guy funny. And then I remember watching it and being like, I don't get this at all. This is shit. He sucks, you know? And I watched him a bunch of times and I just didn't get it at all. And then I watched that Top Gear thing and I don't even know if I liked it then. But when I'm walking around, then suddenly I'm thinking about some bits from that Top Gear thing and I'm like, that was funny. I got to go watch that little bit of the Top Gear thing. And then you find yourself watching the same 9-minute clip again and again. And then suddenly I was like, okay, I see what he's doing, and it's intentional and it's on purpose, you know. But I don't know whether anybody else would have the attention span for that anymore.
I can't remember when I first saw him at all.
I think that I also liked that he was sort of impenetrable because it made me feel special for liking him, you know.
Yeah.
But
did you like Louis?
I loved Louis C.K. I loved him, so I thought he was hilarious. I watched a clip of him there recently that somebody had just put up online, and they were like, it was one of those clips where people go like, I don't care what he did, he's still a funny fucking guy. And then I watched it and I was like, this is shit. This is really bad. I couldn't believe how bad it was. And I don't know whether it came before or after the cancellation. It was him talking about the movie Good Will Hunting. Do you know that one?
Yeah.
And he's talking about how, like, oh, this is a movie where Matt Damon is the biggest brain genius in the world, you know? He's a working class guy, but somehow he's a fucking genius. And then he's like, but Matt Damon like wrote that movie. So he's just imagining like Matt Damon like writing all this stuff where he's like, and then the girl, she likes me, and then I go on the date, and also I go to Harvard and people think I'm really smart, but also I'm kind of humble because I'm working class and I'm not like those fucking stuffy upper crust people. And he's like, you wrote that like you're playing that guy and you wrote that, you know? And that's the joke.
You could say that about any self-written film.
Yeah, you could say that about like plenty of fucking Louis C.K. stuff, in fact.
Yeah.
Except he does talk about being like a sad loser, but ultimately it's that sad loser, but with the twinge of like, oh, but you kind of root for me anyway, don't you? Do you know?
Yeah. Speaking of sad losers, did you read about the Fine Gael councillor?
I did read about that. I thought
Fine Gael
like,
Shannon guy.
It's like,
is it a Shannon?
At this moment in time, these guys are just doing whatever the fuck they want, okay? So when they go, oh, this fella was drunk and on all fours crawling up O'Connell Street, Martin Conway is his name, and he goes, oh, he resigns from the party. I was like, why? Why do you need to resign from the party at all? Just be like, oh yeah, sorry, it won't happen again. And they're like, who cares? Because like you guys don't give a shit. Like, just to link it back in a little bit with like the other item where Verona Murphy was like, actually, I think it might be unconstitutional, or like it might be go against the spirit of the Dáil to have, and I cannot stress this enough, members of the government taking opposition speaking time. Yeah. They're like, actually, I think that might be wrong. And then they're like, well, we're going to accept what the Can Corla says, but we're going to revisit it. We're going to revisit it because it's not fair, really, that we don't have speaking times. Like, you do have speaking time. You have government speaking time. Yeah, but I want opposition. So I just think we'll circle back. We'll circle back. And I was like, you're just making it up. And then they said the other thing about like neutrality, do you know, where it's like, yeah, we're going to introduce legislation to get rid of the triple lock. And it's like, nobody wants this. Nobody voted for this. It was like, yeah, but we're going to do it anyway, so fuck you. It was like, all I'm saying is like, does this senator not get to go, oh yeah, sorry, and then just continue to be in Fine Gael? Like, who cares? You don't care. So why are you making this guy leave exactly?
Just because he was blind drunk.
Yeah. You ran a guy who like beat the shit out of an old man and also like sexually assaulted somebody at a festival. And you're like,
that wasn't so funny. The guy was blind.
Was blind as well?
The guy on all fours.
Well, then fucking let him away with it.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Justice is blind. So is this guy on all fours.
Yeah.
It's so funny that they were like, he was on all fours. It's such a funny image.
Yeah. Well,
like,
once now that you said that,
like, I've never seen that.
No, but now that you said that he's blind, I'm suddenly a lot more sympathetic to it. I thought like, oh, he's so drunk he can't fucking stand, he can't walk or anything. And
I think he was.
That's true. But like, if you were to go like, yeah, but he's also blind, and I was like, imagine being drunk and blind. You'd be like, I have to get on all fours to know where the fucking pavement is. You know?
Yeah. I mean, like, if you're blind, getting drunk would just be horrific. You know what I mean?
So like, you need minders. You need somebody there. Otherwise, you'd be like, you'd be screwed. You'd be fucked.
Yeah, but he is. He's just an independent senator now. Fair play to him though.
Ronan Mullen was like one of the most voted for senators in the country or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he tops the polls. Piece of shit. The worst man ever. He'd probably never get caught like doing something like this guy was doing. And I mean, this guy's in Fine Gael, so fuck him as well. Who cares, really? But like, all I'm saying is like, oh, you've I cannot believe the sanctity of this Shannon has been violated by you, a blind man, being so drunk that you were crawling around like a little baby on the ground, you know? It's like, who cares?
I don't think being blind has anything to do with crawling.
Well, I could just imagine.
I've never seen a blind man crawl.
I say if you were drunk, you'd just be like, where the fuck I'm going to cross the road and I don't know where the curb is. I'm just going to fucking feel her.
They have their stick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe he couldn't find a stick. Maybe that's why he's crawling around trying to find it. I dropped my stick.
Yeah. I think he was just having a laugh.
I don't know. I don't know why I'm going to bat for this guy in such a way. Who gives a shit? But anyway.
My granddad was young. He had a cousin who was a guard. My granddad was a builder. And he went into town and he saw his cousin or whatever, the guard, blind drunk. Lying on O'Connell Street. Then they picked him up and they like put him into the back of their van. But it was full of lime.
Oh no.
So he came out and he was all white. And they left him at the station and he just had to like walk into the station covered in white. So he hated them forever because he thought they did it on purpose.
Lime would also really fuck you up as well, wouldn't it? It'd really like damage your skin, your eyes if it got in your eyes, you know?
Maybe it wasn't lime, maybe it was just dust.
Oh.
Maybe it was like dusty paint.
Well then, you know what? Like, no good deed goes unpunished, huh?
Yeah. My granddad also once went to Tenerife. And he was a landlord, and
Boo.
The guy who was renting off him was like a millionaire.
Made barrels,
He
isn't
made
it?
hats.
Oh.
Hats. And the guy was like, I have no money, so will you take a hat instead? And my granddad took a top hat.
Yeah.
And whenever you go to Tenerife, he'd have the top hat and then like a Hawaiian shirt type thing. And he'd go around smoking a cigar. And one time we got on a bus and the bus driver was like, you can't smoke in here. So he put it out in the change machine. I was just saying that's a funny image.
That's the fucking arrogance of landlords, alright. Maybe do you know what we were talking about? Like, God, I'd love to not be doing any work. And then, if that's the sort of carry on, landlords, yeah, don't do a tap.
Yeah, it's a funny image though. I'm glad he made it funny.
You're talking about
you're talking
about a landlord who's wearing a top hat and then puts out a cigar in a bus and just being like, that's a really funny image actually. It's like, sounds like, you know, something from, I don't know, a short story encouraging people to eat the rich. You know? Like it's...
The bus driver was out of order.
Yeah, he flicked his monocle at him as well. He, you know, got a spoon of caviar and stuck it in his ear.
You wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get it.
Oh, we put it at the Hawaiian... Oh, he was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, so that means he wasn't, like, posh, you know? He had a little bit of fucking lower class kind of bona fides.
Hawaiian shirts, are they working class?
Yeah, I think they're more like Jimmy Buffett, kind of associated with that sort of island life.
I didn't say Hawaiian tracksuit. Did I?
God, that would be fun though, wouldn't it? Hawaiian tracksuit.
They should make one of them.
Yeah, if they haven't already. Well, of course, these days. What do I have? Do I have any news or items here, politics-wise?
Well, there's a drunk guy on Grafton Street.
Yeah, let me see, what time is that? We are about an hour in, so we must mention that about... So like 55 minutes into the episode, and then people are like, where is the politics? Like, well, this guy was drunk on Grafton Street, now he's resigned. Also, he's not in the Shannon anymore. No, he's still in the Shannon. All right, cool. Good stuff.
But he's blind.
And he's blind.
He's minister.
Do you know that one? He climbed Mount Everest. But guess what? He's gay. He's gay. He's blind. What? Do you remember that woman?
Yeah. He climbed Mount Everest, and twist is, he's gay. He's blind.
Right after the break, we're going to interview Eric Weihenmayer, who climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. But he's gay. He's blind.
Oh my goodness.
So you're asking me what political stuff happened this week?
Yeah. Cara Noon went to Dubai. Again.
Well, we were just not to talk about another not to talk about another fat oaf groping blindly at dessert. But Trump, the Cheeto-in-Chief himself, has been doing a lot of bad and some good.
I would say the bad that he's
bringing
doing...
back plastic straws. That's good. I'm delighted. I think if Gareth Noon ran
Don't
on a
call him Gareth
platform.
Noon. He doesn't have the same name as me. Don't be doing that.
What is his name?
Gar. I don't know what the fuck the rest of it is.
He. I'd vote for him. Bring back plastic straws.
Mm.
The paper ones are so bad.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll do the thing where I say it's ableist. You know, I'll do that.
Mm.
I don't want to. I don't think it is, but I will. So I'll say it.
I will. I can. And I have.
Yeah. This paper ones are ableist.
Yeah. I have no opinion. I don't give a shit.
Do you not think they're ableist?
Well, if you say they're
He
ableist, I believe you.
Yeah.
You get
Say
rid
it,
of them,
repeat it.
keep them, lose them. I couldn't care less.
So just say it. Just say it.
Fine, keep them. Get rid of the paper ones. Fuck them.
Say why? Why?
Because they're ableist.
Yeah. And say they're ableist because you'd have to be retarded to think they're a good idea.
It's okay, we can say that now. Now that Trump's back in office.
Yeah. Did you see that clip where the guy was like, it's great. Wait, it's like the interview with the banker.
I mean, I've seen,
He was
yeah,
like,
the
"It's
clip,
great,
but
we
he's like,
just-"
it's great. We can say this thing and we don't have to get cancelled. I was like, you were never getting cancelled. You could say that shit all you wanted. I don't know what you're fucking talking about.
Yeah. Like, you're just an anonymous millionaire. You're not getting cancelled.
Yeah. I don't think, they didn't even name him in the article, did they?
No. Why did Gareth Noon go back to Dubai?
Money.
Like, it was unreal the way he, like, and you sent me this. So, but it's just like, oh, why did he go back? And it's just him with a bar.
Yeah, you just eat a big bar of chocolate.
It's like
yeah.
just a bigger bar. And he's like, oh, I forgot to eat this last time I was here. So I flew fucking 10 hours back to try. It looks like the shittest bar.
I know.
The viral Dubai bar.
It's like that type of stuff where it's like, oh, there's gold filigree inside of it, and it's champagne flavored chocolate with a truffle glaze, and it's like, yeah, I bet you it still tastes like a fucking dairy milk. Like, what? It was like, there's only so good the chocolate can get, and also expensive chocolate never tastes good, in my humble opinion. I can't think of like an expensive bar of chocolate where I'm like, you know, when people go like, if, you know, people are going over, they're watching a movie somewhere. It's like, well, I'll bring a treat. I brought you Green and Black's a honeycomb 70%.
Green and Black.
Oh my god, I hate that stuff.
Yeah.
Give me a big Aero bar.
Remember we used to eat those Smarties bars?
Yeah, those just cut the roof
We
of
had
your
so
mouth.
many.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were so sugary.
The other thing we used to do is that they used to sell pretty much all year round, almost, Easter eggs in cost cutters below where I lived. So we just buy like 2 Easter eggs and like crack them up. Eating 2 Easter eggs a day. Because it's the best kind of chocolate. I don't know what to tell you. But,
it's the curve.
It's like, oh yeah, but you get, and then, you know, you got like the Mars Easter egg, you got the Nestle Easter egg, you got the Cadbury's one, all right? But then it's like, you could just get a Dairy Milk, you could get a Galaxy, or you could get, I guess, a Yorkie for the Nestle one. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have the whatever like disgusting oil that they have in it to make it retain a certain shape. It's present in, anyway.
Because it's a different texture. It's sort of chewier or something.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. You see Gareth Noon over in Easter Island.
Yeah. Trying to get a job as one of the freaking heads.
Yeah. He thought that's where the eggs came from.
I don't think I'm gonna go with him. Okay, we just said that we were eating 2 Easter eggs a day, and it was like Gareth Noon would probably be fucking eating Easter eggs. It's like, we're eating Easter eggs. We need
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's cute when I do it.
Yeah, it's normal when I do it. He knows we're only messing.
Yeah,
Well.
Gar, come on the pods.
Well, actually, I hope he... Yeah. For real. Open invitation. Come on the pod.
Yeah, I'm not going to be there for that one. You should you should just interview him separately. I would have nothing to say to that man. I don't want to ever fucking see him in my life if I can help
Why
it.
not?
Just because it annoys me that he makes money off of something while being as shit as he is at it.
We need to get on the two Johnnies.
Yeah, there's another group of people who make money despite having absolutely no talent. Same with Jiren Garahy.
Who?
Jiren Garahy, you know the one, they give her everything. Vogue Williams, also shit. Joan McNally, also shit. And I know that's all women. That's all millennial women.
Yeah.
But I think we can all agree, listeners to this podcast, there's nothing more upsetting and unpleasant than a millennial woman making money.
Yeah. Really drives us off the wall.
Yeah. With the exception of Blahin de Burka and Alison Spittle.
Right. Sort of weirder now that you've mentioned them.
Yeah, well, they're the only two women who listen to this show, so that was the reason.
They're the only two. Yeah. What next? So Garen Noon went to Dubai.
Mhm.
He had a bar. What else in the news? What else in the news?
I
I
love
feel
that.
very depressed today.
Yeah, same. I'm very what are the three things that we absolutely need to talk about? One is the fact that the
bar. Garen Noon.
the
He
thing
did a
with
bar.
Verona Murphy giving her advice, going like, because apparently Verona Murphy was asked about like, why did you come to this decision? And she's like, well, the things that the Rural Independent said to me before the whole palaver happened in the Dáil versus what happened after, as in the way what they said afterwards contradicted each other entirely. Okay. And now I haven't been able to follow the chain of events with this, but apparently they were like, we should be in our own separate little independent group where we can vote and we can use opposition speaking time. And then she's like, that makes sense to me. And then they tried to force that through. It didn't work. And then the next thing that happened is she was like, okay, I'm going to need like all the rural independents to give me their kind of like reasons for why. And they were like, I don't know why they're throwing such a stink about it, because we're going to vote on a case-by-case basis with the government. So we might vote yes one time with the government, in line with the government one time, and then not in line with the government the next time. And I was like,
Yeah.
and you're like, well, what the fuck is the point of that exactly? Like, what government have you even formed if you're not even going to vote with them 100% of the time? Like, what's the...
Yeah, and I think as well, like, part of the thing of joining the government, Neil Martin insisted that there be a whip system applied.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he was like. There has to be a leader,
Yeah.
Michael Lowry, and there has to be a whip system.
Yeah.
So, like, if that's the case, then yeah, I'm just going to vote for them. You know what I mean? Like, they're in government. There's a whip system. There's a whole thing.
It doesn't make any sense. It's complete bullshit, and it's like, it's just people pulling a fast one. And yeah, everybody in the media has just been like, just pretending to be confused by it, as if it makes absolutely no sense, you know? As in, like, trying to be, or try and pretend that it's not happening. They're just like, yeah, that is a bit weird, isn't it, that they're taking... But anyway, let's see what the Can Corla says, and if she says that it's okay, then I guess it's okay, and, you know, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. And it's like, do you have any take on this, Pat Leahy? Do you have any opinion on this, Fionn Sheehan? Do you have any... All of these people who are paid to have opinions weekly, and they're just like, gosh, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like it could be wrong or right, really. No, it doesn't. It sounds like it could be one thing. It sounds like it's complete batshit, and you're pretending that. I know I'm repeating myself, but it is one of the most egregious things that I've seen in a good long while of just going like. But then the other thing that happened was they go like, okay, it's been settled, and then Virgin Media, they have Gavin Riley presenting the Tonight Show. You know, the panelists are on there, and they get Michael Healy Rae to basically answer for his brother, because I don't think Michael was actually, I don't think he was trying to get opposition speaking time.
It was Danny.
It was Danny. For some reason, Michael wasn't doing it. Danny just thought like, oh, I'll fucking do that. And then, but I love when they didn't get it. And then, because now Michael's going like, well, this isn't fair, because that means that Danny just barely has any time to speak at all. I was like, all right, well, like, it's just so funny to like do a deal with the government and get all these perks and benefits and sit in on these meetings and then be like, yeah, and I'm going to need some speaking time as well. And they were like, well, you get government speaking time. I was like, but that's like less if I was in opposition. I was like, yeah, well, like the trade-off is that you get all this power and influence and money. And then they're like,
I like the speaking.
Yeah, but I should get that as well. I should get the other thing too. It's like, why? Because I fucking want it.
Yeah, pig needs 2 dinners.
But like, I want to see if I can play this clip for you now of Michael. Oh, that was so funny. Sorry, I forgot about that with Barry Heenahan. Barry Heenahan is one of the most disgusting looking people ever, you know?
Yeah, he's so horrible. But he's a sister.
Yeah.
Who ain't so horrible.
Who might be a millennial woman. So... just redirecting fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, to talk about just this thing of like the people who are pretending to be in opposition while at the same time being in the government. And I was like, how is he going to swing this exactly? So let me share this clip and hopefully it'll work. Can you see this?
Oh yeah, just to clear.
Yeah. So here we go. I'm going to press play now. I just found this very funny. This two-hander that he's trying to do.
And I want to clear this for once and for all. They're giving the impression around the country that these people were taking time from opposition. They weren't. They were getting their own time. Not government time, not opposition time. The proposal was they would have their own time.
Is the government's latter proposal that you'd be a hybrid group of some sort?
Exactly. Yeah. And would opposition agree to that? No way. Why? Because they want to box them into a corner. It was a blatant attempt at muzzling them. And all of the opposition came together. They gave this narrative out to the media. And I really think that the people of Ireland are being fed a sop here in that they're getting the complete wrong end of the stick. The clear message is, when you vote for an independent, whatever part of the country that is in, is that person, he or she, entitled to go up and raise issues in the Dáil, even if they're man or woman enough to support the government? Because the rest of you ran away from it. He didn't want it. He didn't. Well, did he run away from Farmay government?
No, we spoke to the government, but they had very clearly decided that they wished to go in with the independents, and that was their easiest path of resistance.
You didn't talk to them for long.
We spoke to them
longer than the other party did.
So you already started the negotiations.
He had their minds made up before he went in. He didn't want to be part of it. And look, somebody had to stand up. We need governance. We need a government. Now we have it. And you're trying to silence the people that support it.
First of all, I think his accent is... I honestly do think it's not entirely put on, but there are certain like syllables where like, you do not talk that way. You just don't.
I mean, I've met people who do talk like that, but I don't believe he talks like that.
No, I don't.
But he is right. Like the Kerry accent is perfectly suited to bullshitting. You know what I mean? And to like, stubbornly argument.
But like, it goes. Just
like it's probably suited for someone telling you black is white.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Listen to that though. He goes, no, what we were saying, we weren't, they're saying that we were going to take opposition speaking time. We weren't. What happened is the government gets their time, the opposition gets their time, and then we would get other time. We would get time that is made up and added to the day. There'd be like a 25th hour, I guess, that we'd create. Do you know what I mean? Like, what you're talking about makes no fucking sense. Like, where is that time going to come from exactly? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's an allotted amount of time that people can speak in the Dáil for obvious fucking reasons, because there's so many of them. It's like, okay, you get 2 minutes, you get 2 minutes, you get 2 minutes. Just, we need to get through the day. Get on with it. Don't say this thing. Do say this thing. You know, that's why the Can Corla is there.
Yeah.
So then they're like, there's going to be a certain amount of hours, just finite, that any amount of people can speak. So then saying, like, we're just going to create more time for other people to take. How does that make... It doesn't make any sense. Like,
I do love him. I think he is a genius.
Like, I think he is. And I wasn't prepared to say that until there was another bit that it's not clipped, it wasn't put out, but like they were talking about Trump, and naturally, like, everybody on they talk about Trump multiple days running. Obviously, everybody's afraid of what Trump's going to do with their precious FDI. So they keep asking people, like, well, obviously we have to go over and shake his hand on St. Patrick's Day, obviously. And that's a huge deal. And that'll mean that the FDI isn't going anywhere. They like, this is the thing they're proposing, you know?
Apparently the invite hasn't been sent out yet.
No, it's apparently it doesn't get sent out until like 2 weeks before, so it's not like make or break at this stage. But
it'd be amazing if he didn't get the invite.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Like Micheál Martin he'd have to be on like suicide watch. You know, the first time this invite wasn't sent out. And it's very possible under this Trump administration. He's like, I don't want to meet that. He's a skeleton. He's a very scary man, and I do not want to meet that man.
Yeah. Because he's never got to meet him. He's never got to go over.
That's true. He's never met Trump.
So like it would be, but he's never gone over to America.
No, he has. He went over last year, didn't he? Or no, he went over like 2 years ago.
Did he?
I'm pretty confident that I've seen him shaking hands with Joe Biden in person, and it was in recent years.
Was that not when?
Oh yeah, Biden visited.
Biden came.
I could be wrong. I mean, if he wants to, if it, like whatever. I mean, obviously he's not entitled. There's a lot of made about, oh, he's a thoroughly decent man, and he was denied this because of COVID. Now it's good that he manages to go up to the Dáil in person, and his wife is there, and etc. It's like, who gives a shit? Who fucking cares? You know, I don't.
Yeah,
you're not owed anything. But I love that. Yeah, the thing I meant to say is that Michael Healy Rae, so he's been asked about Trump, and like one thing he says that is accurate, he's like, well, something will distract him eventually very soon, you know? So like, he's like, he just goes like, we just need to kind of stay out of his line of eyesight until he gets focused on something else, okay? And so then what Michael tries to do is he was like, what was the thing he said? Do you remember I sent it to you where I was like, this is just so designed to piss me off and it's working perfectly. Where he says, he's like, what we need to do is show that we're intelligent folk and that we're not yelling and shouting like the Carry On the other week. And I was like, that's your whole fucking thing. Your whole thing is to look like an idiot. You wear that hat for it because you want to look smart. Is that really what you're telling me? You know, the way you talk, the way you pretend to be stupid. And then the other thing is, you scream and bellow all the time. You know?
But the genius is that he knows.
I know, that's the thing. He knew by saying that somebody is getting wound up by it. And obviously it was me, but it's also the people in, like, you know, the leafy South Dublin suburbs.
Yeah.
You know? They're the ones going like,
even an argument you just saw him make there in that clip. He's like, first of all, he's like, you have to be brave to go into government. You know what I mean?
Oh,
as opposed to just greedy. And then he turns to the woman sitting next to him, and he's like, and he also does that thing of like, if you're man or woman enough. And I think he just did that because he was going to like turn and attack a woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
then he turns to her and he goes like, you ran away.
Yeah.
And I stood up. And it's like, I'm not saying that's going to convince anyone, but it gives a lot of ammunition to people who want to defend him. You know,
I 100%, because I was thinking about, because so what he's trying to say is, and obviously everybody knows this, he goes like, yeah, I was brave enough to go into government. You know, the people in the government the people who voted for me fucking hate I was brave enough to just fucking get on with it and prop them up. And you guys are just fucking yelling and screaming. And, you know, you're making a holy show of yourself. I would never do such a thing myself. And, like, I went into government and you ran away from it. And then what is Sinead Gibney's response? Like, no, we tried to go into government with them. We actually did. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you saying?
I know.
Like, I know it's true that they did, but it's just like, nobody, like, none of the people who would have voted for them are like, want Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael in government. And then the way he's phrasing it is in like, look, I didn't want to do this, but it was thrust upon me. I had to do it. It's not a decision. It's just like, we need a functioning government. We need to get on with things. We need to roll up our sleeves. We all have to work with people we don't like in the past and just fucking get on with things, you know? And
then even when she's like, oh, he did. He's like, well, he didn't talk to them for very long.
Yeah.
You know? It's
like,
just so perfect an argument, you know?
Like, I don't know why it just pissed me off. Well, obviously I know why it pissed me off, but it's just trying to imagine the mind of the person, because they fucking exist. The person sitting down in Kerry going, too right, roll up your sleeves, fucking get into it. We have enough problems in this country without all the effing and jeffing and fighting and scrapping. We just need people who are fucking serious, who get in there every day and they just decide that, you know what, like, I don't like you all that much, but sure, I like the people in my constituency and I want to make sure that I do right by them. And that's all. That's all.
Yeah.
All the carry on, all the fucking whinging, moaning, you know? And I'm just thinking, like, I hate this so fucking much. You're so divorced of anything, isn't it? And it works. It works on them. It works on them. They're still...
It does.
Like, that was it. It was what fucking was it? Man, Barry Heenan. Barry Heenan confirms he does intend to vote with the government on a case-by-case basis only. Why did he stand beside Michael Lowry, who intimated otherwise 2 weeks ago? As an independent TD, nobody else speaks for me, says Barry. It's like, I just can't believe that they're getting away with this. That they're fucking allowed this, you know?
Yeah, I want to see what his Instagram is like at the minute.
That was a funny article. Here's the proposed wording to be included as a sessional order for the 34th Dáil, only the hybrid group. So this was Paul Murphy put this up. Notwithstanding anything in standing orders and until further notice in the 34th Dáil, the group of independent members known as the regional group shall be regarded as a hybrid group. A hybrid group is a group other than a technical group provided for by Standing Order 170, which may be comprised of independent members, some of which may support the government on a case-by-case basis and shall enjoy the following rights: leaders' questions, questions nominated for priority, opening speeches on second stage of a bill, order of business, private members' business, such other rights. And it's just like, just makey up group that allows us to do whatever the fuck we want to do. And fuck you. And that's kind of it, isn't it? That's the whole, like, this is happening, so fucking shut up, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, his Instagram is just him, different clips of him speaking in the Dáil.
Yeah.
Mental health.
Yeah.
Working harder. Fighting for our community.
Hey, fuck this.
You know, real issues.
Do you know what the other one that I found is really funny? Somebody was like, did you know that the Minister of AI hasn't even used ChatGPT? And I was like, we shouldn't have a Minister of AI. You sound like a fucking moron. You sound like a dickhead. A Minister for 3D movies. A Minister for fucking smell-o-vision. Do you know what I mean? Like, a Minister for SIM cards. Like, what are you talking about? This thing that just doesn't, like, it doesn't require... Just because the tech guys tell you that AI means something, it's like, we should have a ministry for AI, actually. Minister for AI. And it's like, God, I better figure out AI and I better get ChatGPT. You sound like a fucking idiot. You sound like a fool.
I know. I do think it's funny the way people are like, to become an expert in AI, you have to use ChatGPT. As if that's going to give you any insight whatsoever. Like, imagine if it was like Minister for Communications, and it's like, yeah, well, I have a phone.
Yeah.
So that gives me good insight into things.
Yeah, I drive a car, therefore I must be a mechanic. You know?
Yeah,
it's
or I have 15 houses. How about I be a minister for housing?
What? Did he just go there?
Yeah, they did. He has.
He fucking is. I just can't believe that.
I do like the way.
Yeah.
Because Darragh O'Brien was roundly fired. He and there's a new guy, James
Brown.
Not James Brown,
isn't it? I thought that was.
No,
it is. It's Brown with an E. James Brown.
Oh. Now they keep blaming everything on the previous pig in the pen, as they say. And they were like, the way, shockingly, the previous government underdelivered on housing.
Yeah.
And they were like, Simon Harris came out and he was like, did you see this? They were like, Darragh O'Brien shouldn't have said that. He shouldn't have given us those numbers. They were very misleading. It's like, you also said it, and you were Taoiseach.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, but he lied. It's like, well, he didn't check.
Yeah.
They're really just blaming everything on him.
I get that. There's a great clip of Neil Richmond on the Tonight Show again as well, with freaking Jay Leno. Imagine Neil Richmond on Jay Leno. Yeah.
The pig ate my homework. What? Was he really on Jay Leno?
No, he wasn't. This is the name of the Virgin Media show with Gav Riley hosting it now. And Gav, the way Gav's hosting style, where he's like, maybe it's up for other people to be confrontational. I like to do a little bit more of a kind of. So he usually he'd be like that, but because it's something that affects him and his mates, he actually does get momentarily quite wound up about this. But this is really funny where it's like, okay, so what happened was during the election, they're like, we're going to exceed our targets for housing. We're going to have 40,000 houses. And then it comes out and it's like, it turns out we're just going to hit our targets. It'll be 33,000. And then it's like, oh, actually, it turns out we're not going to hit the targets. It'll be 29,000. Unless I have that wrong. There's a bit of information I'm missing. But as far as I'm aware, it's just shy of 30,000, which is like below the targets that they had promised. And then Sinn Féin were basically like, if they had been honest about this, the outcome of the election might have been very different. I was like, no, it wouldn't have, because these people are hogs. They are fucking swine. We still have the housing crisis, and everybody knows that they fucking lie. So like, who gives a shit, But anyway, Neil Richmond does this thing, the kind of comms thing of like staring at what they usually do now, where it's like, well, actually, no, like, we didn't lie at all. It was actually, we always said that this was going to happen. He's like looking at his papers and kind of just trying to pretend like, no, this is actually nothing. I don't really. But anyway, then Gav kind of loses the rag with him for about a split second. And then obviously what's implied afterwards is like, I'm sorry that I raised my voice there for a second. But you'll hear now. I'll play it. I'll play it for you. Can you see this?
Oh, no. No.
Right. No?
What stream? There he is now.
There he
looking like
is.
a pig in the headlights.
Yeah.
Going forward in terms of where we're going for the 303,000 is crystal clear based on...
But it now needs to be 313 because you're 10,000 lower than you thought you were going to be.
No, we're 3,000 lower than we thought we would be. So I think that's critical. The target for last year was 33,000. We hit 30,000. Was it terrible that we didn't hit that? Of course.
So you were designing a housing policy or housing targets for the following 5 years, already lowballing the public figure that you were getting.
I'm just telling the country you're going to deliver 40. You're completely misleading and saying, no, I have to intervene. I'm just stating the fact that the housing target for last year was €33,000. And I am saying quite clearly that we missed it by 3,000, and that in itself is something.
But at the time that you were drawing the future targets, you were telling the world you were going to deliver 40, and apparently it was sincerely believed.
And it was sincerely believed.
Then
not just
why
by
would
us,
you design a plan
by
that presumed you were going to deliver 33?
We designed a plan that recognises that we have changed how we deliver housing over the last 5 years. And within the programme for government, we are being even more ambitious to deliver more homes. And we will absolutely put every resource and every energy, legislative funding and otherwise, to hit that target of 303,000 over that 5-year period.
Yeah, I've never seen him get quite that rowdy. Gavin Riley. It doesn't suit him. Makes him worried.
There's a few replies underneath where like, Gav, the next Vincent Brown. And I was like, fucking, why don't you take a long walk off a short pier, buddy?
Yeah.
Do Vincent Brown dirty like that. Piece of shit. But yeah, was it Martin defends inflated housing figures and signals change to rent pressure zones. So I love that the idea. So let me get the quote up, because basically what he's signaling with rent pressure zones is that they're going to get rid of them. Okay. It's just,
yeah.
The rent pressure zones, if anybody remembers, maybe they explain it down here. I think you can read this article because I'm still sharing my screen. But basically that there are key areas within urban zones, whatever, where the rent cannot be raised above a certain percentage. It can be done so every 2 years, but that's it. So every time you're on Daft and you see somebody in a house share has like a rent that looks ridiculously lower than everybody else's rent, it's probably because they live in a rent pressure zone. And the government now wants to get rid of that to, I guess, allow it. Like, again, it's the same. It's a thing where it's like, you go like, well, you lied about the housing figures. No, we didn't. And actually, it's, whatever. It was a bit inflated. It's grand. But also, we're going to get rid of this other thing, which means rents are going to go up for a lot of people. You're like, God damn it, man. Like, why do you keep tagging everything with something worse? Do you remember, where it's like, we go like, oh, people have said that the Help to Buy scheme is inflationary. No, it's not. And also we're going to expand it to secondhand homes. Fuck, man. Jesus. Why are you doing this? Like.
Yeah.
Taoiseach said that a number of private bodies had estimated a rise in completion for the final quarter, which he said had a...
That's the end of the free bit. Go to patreon.com/CelticLigers where you can hear the Ligers talk about the ongoing war on neutrality by sensible bloodthirsty Irish pragmatists. They read a bit of comedy actor David Mitchell's Guardian piece about these dang kids just not liking to eat their vegetables, aka vote for Starmer. And finally, Supermac's founder Pat McDonagh thinks Ireland is Mega City 1 because people won't stop stealing his burgers. It is not a victimless crime.